Minivan. Does that word excite anybody? Well, maybe this guy and this guy. But unless you're on the fringes of society, odds are you're not buying a minivan because you want one. You're buying one because you need one. Knowing that van ownership is a choice often thrust upon people, car makers like Kia are working to soften the blow. This is the third-generation Kia Sedona. Stepping in to replace the homely and dated second-gen Sedona, this thing looks like a revelation on wheels. Of course, the old Sedona isn't the competition, it's these guys. We'll get to them in a moment. First, let's set the Sedona stage. When you receive a package from Amazon, it comes in a box. That's because boxes are really good shapes for carrying things. It's the exact same thing with the minivan. You have a boxy shape. A lot of minivans try to be smooth and sleek and kind of hide that fact. The cool thing about the Sedona is it embraces it. It says, hey, I've got to be square. Why not embrace the squareness and go with a bulky, sort of masculine look? I think it works well. Of course, like you tell your children, it's what's inside that counts. And on that mark, the Sedona excels. Material quality is good. There's soft materials here on the dash and on the door panels. And even where it's hard, it's really well bolted together, strong, solid feeling plastic. Also, it's attractive. There's not a lot of desperation and styling. It just looks kind of good, and it doesn't go out of its way to say, hey, I'm a minivan, but I'm still cool. Please love me. Also, good room for occupants. In most dimensions, the Kia Sedona holds its own against the Honda Odyssey and Toyota Sienna. Shoulder space is a touch more constrictive than each, but head, hip, and total legroom are more than competitive. Okay, third row headroom does drop from an exceptional 38.9 inches to a simply adequate 36.6 inches in the dual sunroof-equipped SX Limited trim. That said, the Limited's so-called first-class second-row seats partially make up for the headroom shortage. Sliding inward then back, these limited exclusive seats offer absurd legroom and indulgent fold-out leg rests. In our experience, the leg rests work fine for average height occupants, but they don't extend far enough down to keep from causing a pressure point on the legs of taller folks. If the Sedona has a notable dimensional shortcoming, it can be found behind the third row. With 33.9 cubic feet allotted to strollers, backpacks, and field hockey gear, the Sedona trails its key competitors by about 5 cubic feet. On a positive note, using that space is pretty easy. In minivans, cargo management is a pretty big deal. Like, what do you do with the space when you need to carry stuff versus what do you do when you need to carry people? The third row in the Sedona is super easy to deploy and to pop back up. A single pull, flip it back, push it down, flip it back, push it down. The easy fold third row makes it nice and simple to carry stuff, but if you want to carry a lot of stuff, one of the challenges is if you have the second row captain's chairs, you can only slide them forward. You can't pull them out and you can't fold them flat. It's a minor disadvantage when it comes to carrying a lot of mysterious stuff. There is, however, a simple solution. Don't buy the top-tier SX Limited trim. Whether equipped with standard 7 or optional 8-passenger seating, all non-limited trim Sedonas feature slide and stow second row seats that make way for larger cargo by cozying up to the front seat backs. On a related note, minivan owners who like to toss diaper bags and such on the ground between the front seats might not like the Sedona's car-like center console, though in the console's defense, it does help create the illusion that you're not driving a minivan. Fling all this vanny goodness into motion, and one of the first things you might notice is that the steering is weirdly quick for a minivan, and also the steering wheel is kind of small. And why not? We live in an era of power steering. There's no reason why you need a huge tiller to move this thing left to right. It's also worth mentioning that in terms of handling, the Kia Sedona performs quite well. It's got good road holding, again, for a van. It's kind of almost approaching fun to drive. Not that anybody who buys a minivan cares. Much more important than handling is ride quality. There are some bumps. Handled it with aplomb. Well done, Sedona. Powering the Kia Sedona is a 3.3-liter V6. It puts out 276 horsepower, which is fine, though it needs revs to make that power. If I flew it right now, it downshifts, and then once you get up above 4,000, 4,500 RPM, then it starts to move. It should also be noted that you can tow up to 3,500 pounds if you're into taking your family places and doing things, and then having a jet ski or like a, I don't know, what else do you tow? I can only think of jet ski. What weighs less than 3,500 pounds that you'd want to tow with a van? Let's say jet ski.
Hot dog cart?
Hot dog cart.
Do you tow a hot dog cart?
Yeah. I mean, unless you have like more than 3,500 pounds of hot dogs. Maneuvering a minivan can be tricky. You know, you got all this mass around you, but Kia have done their best to make it easy. You've got a high vantage point so you can see the world around you, big windows, and if that's not enough, there's an optional sort of surround view camera system that shows you everything around you, meaning that if you accidentally run over your cameraman, you've got some explaining to do. Even in base sub $27,000 form, including destination, the Kia Sedona is equipped with helpful features like cruise control, backup sensors, a 4-speaker audio system with steering wheel controls, USB and auxiliary inputs, Yes Essentials stain-resistant fabric, and dual front side, and full-length side curtain airbags. Move up to higher trims and power sliding doors. Tri-zone automatic climate control, leather, and other goodies could be yours. Rounding out the options is a technology package offered on the SX Limited that includes dynamic cruise control, lane departure warning, forward collision alert, and the previously mentioned surround view monitor. If you want the techiest minivan in the student pickup line, the tech package is worth adding. If you'd rather save money, a loaded SX Limited trim with its more than $43,000 price tag might not be the play. Even so, when similarly equipped, the Kia Sedona undercuts its Odyssey and Sienna competitors by several $1,000s. Though those savings dwindle a bit when considering the exceptional resale values of the Sienna and the superior 28 mpg highway fuel economy of the Honda Odyssey. In most efficient form, the Sedona only musters 25 highway mpg, a figure matched by the Sienna, but to the Sienna's credit, it's also the only minivan that can be had with all-wheel drive. Ultra-value conscious buyers might also consider the Dodge Grand Caravan, which sports a less than $22,000 starting price, but a dated design. Those who dig bold style might go for the Nissan Quest, but not if they also need seating for 8 or a vast cargo area. So, is the Kia Sedona a savior come to return van culture to its former glory? Sadly, no. But if you're a value-oriented minivan shopper who appreciates cool features and a quasi-car-like driving experience, the Kia Sedona is an intriguing alternative. Gold! Oh. Gold is best! Ah.